Karma means you cannot escape your sins. No matter how fast or far you may run, they'll always catch up to you.
What's up, YouTube? It's your boy, it's your homie, Futuristic Mike, and I'm back with another Power Book 2 Ghost video. Now, this is going to be the review and recap for Power Book 2 Ghost, Season 2, Episode 5, the mid-season finale. If you're a fan of Power, hit the like on this video. If you're new to my channel and this is the first time you're finding me, subscribe and turn on those post notifications so when I post videos on Power Book 2 Ghost, you get them. Now, this episode right here was by far the best episode of the season. And if this season keeps up like this, it's definitely going to be better than Season 1. Like, honestly, you know, the first 3 episodes, I was thinking to myself, like, okay, Season 1 is better so far. But now, I'm thinking Season 2 has the potential to be way better than Season 1. Especially because we see Lorenzo out of jail now, and there's just a whole bunch of things happening, which means there's going to be some heat brought down on Tariq and the Tejadas. It's just going to get crazy, man. Lorenzo and Mecca are most likely going to be at war, and it's just going to be crazy. In the last episode, we seen that Zeke was the main focus, you know, for Jabari Reynolds' murder. He got put on blast on live TV with his interview, and it just got crazy, man. Davis required $1 million for Zeke's defense, and Mecca paid it on Monet's behalf. And we found out that Mecca and Monet are Zeke's parents. So Monet is not Zeke's aunt, you know, she is his mom, and it's just crazy. But in this episode, we see Zeke had to voluntarily turn himself in, and he was kind of upset with Monet. We could tell he was not happy. When they got to the police station, they definitely got a curveball, man. Jenny Sullivan and Kamal Tate joined Detective Whitman to inform Zeke, Monet, and Davis that Zeke was no longer a suspect and that he could go home. You know, Zeke was still upset at Monet about many different things, like the interview and stuff. He thinks that no team would draft him now after that interview, but he's just happy to be going home. Now, after finding Detective Ramirez's body, their theory that Zeke hired Ramirez to kill Professor Reynolds fell apart. That's no longer a theory. Now, Whitman wants to handle this case as soon as possible, man. He's not sure that Zeke is off the hook just yet, and Kamal got a hunch that they should look more into Professor Reynolds' writings and stuff like that to gain hints into what he was investigating. Now, Kamal and Whitman, they go to Carrie to ask for help in reading Jabari's manuscript. They're trying to get all the clues that they can. Now, Tariq, he gets back to his dorm, packs up some things and a gun. You know, he rushes from Lauren's dorm room, and she's upset. You know, she was in the bathroom playing with that wire that's in the watch, and she told Tariq to wait, and he didn't wait. But Tariq asked Braden had Kane come looking for him or any of the Tejadas, and Braden lied and said, nah, nobody came. And Tariq warned him to stay away from any of the Tejadas. You know, there's some shit going down right now, and Tariq doesn't need to be near them, and neither does Braden. But Braden's not listening. There's a lot of lies going on in this season so far. I mean, it's kind of okay, though, because, you know, Tariq was lying to Braden constantly in the first season. Now we see that Braden is the one with all the lies. Now, Monet requested Mecca to meet at their bar, but Monet doesn't know his name is Mecca. He finds out that his money actually wasn't needed to help Zeke. You know, she said that she's been making poor decisions, and Mecca, he's trying to do everything he can to make Monet trust him. You know, he's filing a trust fund on behalf of all the kids, including Zeke. But Monet tells Mecca that, you know, everything is too much right now, and she pushes him away. She doesn't really know what to do. She doesn't really want his help. Now, when we get to school, man, we get to the classroom scene, and Carrie, out of nowhere, starts talking about karma. She writes karma on the board, and she calls Tariq out right away. You know, Lauren tries to answer what karma is, and the class is confused on why she's even talking about it. And then she calls out Tariq, and she's like, Tariq, what do you think? And Tariq answers her, and then she's like, no, go more into depth. I want to hear exactly what you think. Obviously, she's coming at Tariq like this because of Jabari's manuscript. Now, Monet comes up to the school to snatch Tariq up and took him for a ride. And Lauren's wondering, like, why are you running off? You know, because they were supposed to look for apartments for Yasmin. And Tariq says, look, I'll call you later. Now, she confronted Tariq about why was Zeke caught up in this mess and why he lied about Jabari's murder. Because she now knows that Tariq was involved because Kane told her the truth. You know, she drove him to like a secluded area. You know, she has her gun on her lap and she's giving him a chance to redeem himself. You know, he's explaining himself saying exactly what happened and that he was trying to protect Zeke. And she demanded that he finds out who Kane's connect is, and she said if he doesn't do that, then there's gonna be some problems. And then she made his ass walk back. Damn, that was cold for real. Now we see Monet meet with Kane, offering him a chance at redemption too. You know, she wanted him to uncover Tariq's weakness so that she can control him. Now Carrie read Jabari's manuscript, and she told Whitman and Kamal what the book was about, and she said it was about Tariq. She said that Jabari thought she was sleeping with Tariq, and Whitman still wants to hold on to the idea that it was about Zeke. And we see Kamal say that Tariq's father, James Ghost St. Patrick, you know, was a major drug dealer before his demise. He said, I heard he was a major player. And Carrie even suspected Tariq's roommate, Braden, that he was the one selling drugs and stuff. At this point, Carrie is just acting like a cop, and she has to go, man, for real. Because they're all trying to pressure Lauren to wear that wire. And it's just gonna get ugly, for real. Now, Carrie meets with Lauren, and she says that the police are suspecting Braden of selling drugs, because she says that they found out a preppy white kid was selling drugs on campus. And she said that Lauren needs to get Braden on the wire, incriminating himself. And obviously she's having her do this to try to get Tariq too. Now, Kane surprises Braden at the dorm. You know, he's looking for Tariq. He can never find Tariq. Tariq is never answering anybody. And Lauren comes knocking at the door looking for Tariq too. And Kane tried to holla at your girl Lauren. Like, for real, tried to spit some game. Kane got told that Tariq was looking for an apartment. And Lauren was literally looking at this guy like, who is this guy, man? He looks like a drug dealer. Now we see Tariq visit, you know, his attorney, Daniel Warren. He wants a recommendation for court, you know, the following day to gain custody of Yasmin. And Daniel is like, no, I cannot do that. And Tariq says, come on, man. You know, you looking after my father's estate and stuff, doesn't that mean that this right here is important? Can't you help me out? And finally, Daniel agrees to take his case. Now we see Kane speaking with Mecca about, you know, their plotting and stuff. And Mecca put two and two together and figured out that Kane and Tariq was the one that dropped the professor. And, you know, Kane tried to lie about it, but Mecca knew. And he was wondering why Monet still decides to keep Tariq around. But he told Kane that since he's Monet's plug and she was giving him a second chance, that she was dependent on him. So Kane is going to have to make a move even if he has to force her hand. Now we see Drew and Everett again in another one of these scenes, man. It didn't last very long and I was happy about that. You know, they got a visit from Zeke and he changed his hair to blonde. And Zeke asked how they know each other and Drew lied and said that they met at the club. Now Tariq meets with Diana asking for her help to get some product from Kane. You know, he says that it's to get his sister back. At first he wouldn't tell her, but she's like, no, I need to know. And she agreed to help him in exchange for him gaining intel on Kane. You know, she wants to know what Kane is up to because she suspects him of switching the coke with powdered sugar. Now we see Diana meet up with Kane and she tells him that she needs product from him for Tariq to help him with his hearing. And she said, if you don't help me, I'm going to tell Monet that you're the one that switched the coke with sugar. And he agreed to it because he knew that he's the one that did it. And if Diana says something, that's his ass. And he said that Tariq has to be there to get the product himself. Now Lauren is questioned by Carrie, Kamal, and Whitman about the findings on the wire. Now they want to upgrade her device to listen live and coach her on different questions and stuff. And she's just not about this, but they keep on forcing her. And Whitman heard Lorenzo Tejada Jr. on the tape. All of them did. And they knew that maybe he was involved with all this. Then we see Whitman come to get Kamal out the room. And they have a file on Kane and they start talking about him. And they want to look at him as the suspect. Now Monet makes a visit to Lorenzo to tell him that Zeke was off the hook. And then out of nowhere, he got a call from Cooper Sachs. Lorenzo tells Monet that he has to take the call, so she leaves. And Sachs tells Lorenzo that Diana hired him for his case and they have a hearing the next day. Now we see that Tariq sent Braden for the re-up with Kane. And Kane was like, I told Tariq to be here. And we see Tariq spying on them from the distance. He's looking through a fence. He followed Kane after he left. He's taking a video of him headed to Mecca's place. And out of nowhere, he's assaulted by one of Mecca's goons, Nuff. He slams his face towards the security camera. And Kane's being asked, does he know this man? And he lied and said no. and Nuff started beating the hell out of Tariq, but then dude told Nuff to let Tariq go. Now Mecca's chef told him that he thinks Kane might know the visitor, and Nuff confronted Kane in front of Mecca, and then Mecca asked Kane straight up, and Kane lied to him. And Nuff was pissed off. He was like, "You really gonna take Kane's word over this?" And Mecca gave the signal to the chef, and he cut Nuff's throat, and it was crazy and bloody, man, for real. We see Mecca does not play, and then Kane grabs Tariq's phone off the counter. Now Davis visits his brother Theodore in prison to inform him that Sachs was working on a case similar to his, and as soon as he's done, he's gonna send him his way. His brother said he's good in prison. He said if he doesn't get out, he's cool with that. It seems like Davis might have did some dirt that could land him in jail because, his brother's saying, "I'll do anything to keep you out of here." Now we see Tariq go to see Monet, but Diana comes out the house instead. And at the same time, Everett and Drew were pulling up, and he drops Drew off. Now the next morning, Tariq was late to meet Lauren and the realtor, so he lost the place. He lost the apartment. And Lauren's asking what the hell happened to his face. He told her that he got robbed. And he said he doesn't know what he's gonna do because he needed that apartment for his sister. And then Lauren offered something to him. She offered her brother's place to him since, he was in a halfway house and he wasn't gonna be home for a while. And Tariq was really appreciative, but then she asked him some questions about Brayden, and Tariq assured her that, the book wasn't about Brayden and that living with Brayden isn't that bad. And we hear Kamal and Whitman listening outside in their van, and Tate thought it was enough to get evidence to look into Tariq's dorm room. We see Monet calling Tariq, and Kane comes by and drops his phone off to her. He's mad as hell. He told her about Tariq's custody hearing, and he also confronted her for sending Tariq to follow him to the plug's location. And he's just pissed off, man. He's confronting his mom. He said it could have gotten them all killed for what she did. And, he figured that she was the problem. And he's questioning whether he's a soldier or her son. Like, he just doesn't know. She treats him just like a soldier and not a son. Now we see Tariq head into court because he's going to be late. And Monet opens the door. She has a gun on her lap, and she tells Tariq to get in. She confronts him about getting caught and allowing Kane to find out. Tariq says, "Look, I didn't tell Kane. I just got caught following him." And she wanted him to sit in front of the courtroom and lose her sister like she almost lost Zeke as a consequence. She thinks Tariq keeps getting away with dirt, and she's trying to teach him a lesson. Tariq tried everything he could to get out of this. He keeps on talking. He gives up information about Drew, Diana, and Kane. He tells Monet everything. He says that Kane switched Rico's product with powdered sugar. He says Drew is still fucking that dude behind her back. And he says Diana's the one that stole the money out your bar. He says, "Look, you're not in control and you need me." And then she lets him go. Now we see Tariq get to the hearing late, and the judge yelled at him about being late and stuff. And she says it looked like he got into a brawl. He actually spoke up, and he said some good stuff about him and his sister, and the judge agreed to give him custody, at least for now. Now we see Tariq's dorm room being searched. The police are searching everywhere, and they didn't find anything, but then Kamal continues to search, and he finds Ramirez's badge. Now when Tariq arrives at the school, he was arrested for the murders of Detective Ramirez and Professor Reynolds. And you can tell Brayden was trying to tell Tariq to get out of there, but Tariq kept walking. They had him in cuffs and they were walking him out. And everyone was just staring at Tariq like, "I can't believe this shit." And Lauren tried to go up to Tariq, but Carrie said, "No, let him go. He deserves this." Now we see Daniel Warren come to visit Tariq, and he gave him a letter from his father. So it's a letter from Ghost. And Warren was instructed by Ghost Trust to give Tariq the letter if he was ever arrested for homicide. Now, he didn't know what was in the letter, and he hoped he'd never have to give this to Tariq. And the letter said, "I knew you'd end up here, little nigga, right where you belong." And Tariq looked salty. I thought it was going to be some words of advice or something like that, and Ghost was just shitting on Tariq. I mean, honestly, Tariq kind of deserves it for shooting his father, but I still did feel kind of bad for Tariq. It seems as if Ghost is haunting him from the grave. Now we see Monet meet with Mecca, and she's confessing her guilt about, her children being steered down the wrong path. She feels like they're not all there with her. And Mecca wants to finally meet Zeke, and she said, "Possibly. I gotta talk to everybody." But then they kiss. see Monet pull up at home, and she goes in to talk with the kids and stuff, and she hears stuff coming from the house, just happiness, you know, a whole bunch of commotion and stuff. And she goes in the living room, and she enters the house, and Lorenzo was home from prison. He's a free man. He's just sitting there with the kids, and they're all happy, man. And Drew is like, why didn't you tell us? Like, why'd you keep this from us? And she said, I wanted it to be a surprise. And you can tell by the look on her face, she did not want this to happen. Things are going to get so complicated now, it's not even funny. But I can't wait to see where the story goes. This episode was fire, man, for real. I cannot wait until episode 6. We gotta wait 2 weeks, and I truly can't wait. I'll give this episode a 9 out of 10. Let me know what you guys thought. Comment your thoughts down below. What do you think is gonna happen next? And what are your theories, thoughts, predictions, and everything else for the rest of season 2? Keep supporting your boy, and I'll be continuing to bring y'all Power Book 2 Ghost content in the future. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and smash that notification bell so you can never miss a video. If you guys want to donate to the channel, I got links below to the PayPal and Cash App accounts. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me get out of here, y'all. It's your boy FuturisticMike, and I'll talk to you on the next one. I'm out. Peace.